Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you? Good. I put deodorant on and I brushed my teeth for this.
Which
So you know.
what you need to do is you need to have good breath and not stinky pits for a live stream because of the release of Smell-O-Vision. So that's a new Twitch feature. I don't know if you guys saw that the big news, the big reveal. Twitch,
So
Smell-O-Vision.
yeah, so you're welcome.
Chris, you seem very low energy. I'm not sure what's going on. Is it because you're in your office instead of the? Yeah, you're like. Hello, this is Chris Lanfear. Hi, everybody. My name's Chris Lanfear, and welcome to the Sweaty Balls podcast. I get that. You're sexy. It was good. It was a good week. I got to spend some good quality time. Hey, Simone, I do want you to look behind you because your cats are outside.
I know. It's so hot though. So I have the window open and I'm risking. I mean, if they fall, that's on them. They're both adults. They know. We are
This is
upstairs.
This is going to be an hour-long show of me having a fucking panic attack watching Simon the entire time. Like, I hope he's gone. Look. No, he's but anyways, I got to spend some quality time with Simone this week, which was really nice, and I've got a new schedule at work, which is really nice. Oh boy, those kitty boys are real freaking me out. That was my week, and now I have so much anxiety because of Simone's terrible parenting decisions.
It's so hot.
Honestly, though, that room it's the hottest.
And I don't want to turn the fans on because I don't want it to be noisy.
Mm-hmm.
And all you hear is because that's what my fan sounds like.
It does.
Got a few seconds of the regular oscillating whooshing sound, and then it just starts screaming. It's very distracting.
Simone, how was your week?
What now?
Well, how was your week, Simone?
My week. Let me tell you. I didn't do much. What did what did I
Kevcat, how was your week?
It was pretty good.
How's the new job?
Sorry, my cats are also trying to destroy everything.
Okay.
I think this is going to be the episode where the cats just sort of take over, because my cat is right here, just to the right of the frame here, and staring out the window. So I don't know if yeah. Random American says you can hear me. Apparently I couldn't be heard earlier, so that's good. So we're off to a good start. But yes, so welcome, Random American. How are you? This is your first time here, and you hear everyone. Awesome.
I hear everyone. Can you acknowledge the other commenter in the chat, please?
You mean the one that's you? I did. I put it on the screen. It says I'm in the chat.
Oh, did you? I didn't see it. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Random America says, who are you guys? So good question. So we are NoCo FM. We're a podcast and streaming network based in northern Colorado. And we produce a whole suite of different podcasts in both video and audio form. And this is the live show that we do every Monday night. We don't really have much of an agenda. We just kind of riff and see what's going on. But we produce about 15 different shows based on everything from parenting to D&D to self-help and motivation to other tabletop games. We do all kinds of stuff. So if you're enjoying this and you want to find out a little bit more about us that we may or may not talk about, just go to noco.fm, noco.fm, and that's where all of our stuff is. But welcome.
And if you don't enjoy this show, still check us out because the other shows are much higher quality than this.
That's true. This show is our live show where things are a bit more freeform. Most of our stuff is much more polished than this, but that's kind of the point of the live show, right? Is to just kind of go nuts and do it.
Also, I think I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I think maybe next week, maybe the week after, we try to do a show in the studio. How would you feel about that? So we don't have to do the live stream separate?
I think we can be ready to do that. If not a week from tonight, then 2 weeks from tonight at the very latest.
Well, that'd be nice.
That's my plan. We're actually interviewing someone in the studio on Wednesday, so I at least have to have it somewhat presentable. But yeah, so yeah, the studio remodel is going well. But things are going slow, and I'm still trying to adjust where things go and stuff. And I have new equipment on order, and some of it has arrived, and some of it hasn't. And we've retrofitted the studio to be a bit more friendly to. How would
you feel about that? So we don't have to. Sorry, you probably hear yourself.
I was looking at the comment. So the comment is Random American. I don't want to be rude, but I think the bottom left person, I don't know his or her name, needs a new buzz cut. Kevcat, do you want to respond?
Your microphone is muted, dog.
Well, I noticed that, but I need a new buzz cut.
I mean,
like the top.
Yeah, and Random American has already admitted to being rude. So, I mean, hey, you know what? I'll admit to...
He right.
Yeah.
They right. I'm shaggy as shit, dog. I do need a haircut.
I do too. My hair doesn't look too disheveled, but I tend to keep it much shorter than this. But I have not been going to get my hair cut professionally. So I've just been sort of chop-socking away on it by myself. And then my girlfriend has to come in later and fix it for me because I suck at it.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, that's been kind of fun. So I'm trying to time when I cut my own hair around the time that I know I'm going to see her so that I know I won't have to wait too long before she can fix my mistakes.
Simone, can I tell the story?
What story?
Your hair.
I can tell my own story.
Tell your story. I'm going to add to it.
This is my story.
Your haircut story.
My haircut. Oh, well, it's not interesting. I just accidentally shaved it all off.
I've done that. I feel that.
Well, well, can we make this a segue? Because it's drag related too.
Yeah.
Anything you want. Do it up.
Okay, cool. So I'm a drag king. My drag name is Simon Hyperion. I'm not a regular on this Monday showbiz showhouse extravaganza. I don't know what you guys call it. I'm just a guest.
I like extravaganza.
So yeah, I'm Simon Hyperion. I'm a drag king. And
before we get too deep into the story, Simone, Random American is asking drag king. I'm guessing that they aren't familiar with that term. So
do you
want
to
define that real quick?
Yeah. A dude being a chick being a dude. I'm so lost. Oh, I love questions like these. Yes, I am happy. So Random American is asking if we can rewind. So if we could all just like pause and just like rewind real quick. Thank you, Kev Cat, for being the only other person who gets me.
I got you.
So yes, I am a drag king. Drag kings do exist. They are not as well known. Largely because of RuPaul. Drag queens have become very mainstream, which has a lot of good and bad to it. One of those not so great things being pretty much all drag performers who fall outside of that cis gay queen cookie cutter mold kind of get pushed off to the side, and then people don't know about them, but we exist. I exist. Yes, I'm a drag king. As far as the dude being a chick or a chick being a dude, anybody can do drag regardless of gender. Anyone can be a drag king or a drag queen or a drag performer if they feel that they don't fit into either king or queen.
Drag royalty,
drag thing, whatever you want. So I actually identify as agender, which means I'm not really feeling the whole boy thing or girl thing. I'm just kind of lazy. I'm a lazy queer. I don't care what pronouns you use. I don't care. Yes, I am agender, and I consider myself a drag king. I like to do a lot of gender fuck drag, though, which is a style of drag where you incorporate a lot of masc and femme attributes. So I'm actually happy that you're confused, Random American, because that is my constant goal in life, is to just leave everyone perpetually confused about what I am.
You're the Riddler.
Riddle me this.
You're the hot anime character I aspired to be in high school.
So yes, during the not quarantine, in the before time, I produced a monthly drag show in Greeley, which hopefully will come back at some point. But for the time being, we're doing a virtual drag show through Twitch. I think we're streaming on here. Yeah. On NoCo FM. Oh, good. So that's coming up next Saturday. Super exciting. And so I promise that all leads into the story that Charles asked me to tell, which I promise really isn't that interesting, so I'm sorry for all the build up to it. But because we're doing virtual shows, most of us aren't really performing live. We're pre-recording content and then airing it the night of the show. And so for one of my numbers, I found this super rad song called Masculine Women, Feminine Men. It was written in the 1920s. And it's basically this guy singing about how back when he was a kid, things were so much easier because men looked like men and women looked like women. And nowadays you can't tell who is who or what's what. And he sings, which is the rooster, which is the hen, those masculine women and feminine men. Before he got that gig, he wrote songs. So the more you know. So I'm doing that song for my drag number. I think it's really interesting to me that, people today, a lot of them are bitching about that same exact thing about how, who's calling me? Decline. Somebody called. Was it you, Kev Cat? How'd you get my number? Where? Go away! Stop it! I get so distracted. I get so distracted. I was finally focused and I'm telling a story, and now I have no idea where I am. Anyway, pre-recording. So I was working on recording my stuff for that song the other day. Oh yeah, see, you got me sidetracked. What I was saying, I think it's really interesting about this song because people today are still well, I remember back in the good old days when boys were boys and girls were girls, but then you have this song that was written in 1926, I believe, where they're expressing that same sentiment. So it's kind of that fuck you and your gender roles. But anyway, so there's a specific line in the song that is, sister is busy learning to shave and brother just loves his permanent wave. So usually I have a haircut very similar to Kev Cat's, and I was due for a shave on my sides. So I figured I would just, for that part, the sister is busy learning to shave, I would go ahead and shave my sides while recording it for that number, and it would fit.
Sick.
And yeah, sick. But you know how, like, so you're recording on your phone like this, right? And you have to look over, like, over here where the camera is, so you're not actually looking at yourself in the screen. So I was looking over here in the corner, and I shaved my head and just shaved, like, a huge strip of it off, because I wasn't looking at what I was doing. And so then I tried to fix it a little bit on this side. I'm like, yeah, it's looking good. Nope, fucked it up. Shaved a little bit more off this side, fucked it up, and then I had basically just this little, like, landing strip of hair right here. And so it's like, okay, well, fuck it. I guess
like
this is
a baby faux hawk?
Yeah, basically. So that's, I told you, it wasn't really a very interesting story.
I thought it was great.
So there's an extra aspect of this.
What is the other aspect?
So Simone forgot to shave 5 hairs right here. And it became Simone's bangs for like 3 or 4 days. So there were 5 hairs that were just so much longer than the rest of the hair that were just sticking up here for a few days. And we had a lot of fun over a few days. Let's see. Okay, so hold on. No, we're good. But anyway, so we're going to we're going to just do a few things real quick. Thank you.
I missed all this.
Yeah, no, we're good. Don't even worry about it. Let's just move on from it, guys. Let's just move on. So we are moving on. But talk to us about your drag show. What are you doing this weekend here? What is going on with your show? Simon, Hyperion, the show that you're talking about.
Okay, Simon, but can we talk? Okay, sorry, I get distracted easily.
I know you do.
Which is why you should not be looking at the chat.
But there were some interesting comments.
Mm-hmm, don't even worry about the chat.
Okay, actually, but I do want to comment on the correction that was made, the biologically female, because that's kind of cringy. Like, if we're gonna be, trying to educate people on gender identity and whatnot, I don't think correcting by saying biologically female is correct, because that's icky.
Wait,
I apologize.
What was the comment?
Yeah.
No, we're moving past this. We're going to talk about.
Why can't we talk about it though?
Because somebody in the chat just mentioned about just trying to do the thing that people do to try to egg people on. We can talk about it.
I'm not egged on. I love these kinds of conversations. I'm not egged on. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm not offended.
Right.
So, okay, so to rescue this dead air, so Random American, who was on the chat, may still be, I'm not sure, was asking about Simone's gender and specifically what a drag king meant. And I put in he basically made this long comment about, I asked clearly whether you started out as a man or a woman, and apparently they were very much confused about the story kind of tangent where things went on about the haircut and all of that. And my response was to say biologically female cosplaying as male. Now, I recognize that saying biologically is not particularly correct. However, I was trying to say this in words that person would understand.
So,
because that person seems to have a difficulty, like.
I think that's a good thing to talk about, though. I think that's a good teachable moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't want other people seeing that comment and thinking that that's the situation. I mean, I don't want to derail anything, but if we could just chat real quick on why biologically female is icky.
Okay,
because that might be a point of confusion for some.
So the main thing, personally, that I see is when it comes to gender and gender identity, especially with trans people, people use things like, well, biologically female, biologically male, as a way to say, well, you'll never really be a male or a woman, a trans or whatever, or non-binary. The best way to say it is, unless the trans person themselves tells you, like, yes, I was born with the female sex or the male sex or whatever, don't fucking talk about it. The best way to say it is like, sorry, dude, that's a dude, or that's a girl, or that's my homie that don't got nothing in their pants. It's a mystery. They're a Ken doll. Nobody needs to know that unless the person who is directly being talked about mentions it.
Yeah, and to add on to that too, some better terminology would, like, if that does need to be discussed for some reason, using assigned gender at birth is a lot more inclusive. Assigned sex at birth, assigned female at birth, assigned male at birth. Because like Kat said, biologically a male or biologically a female is used a lot by transphobes and TERFs and whatnot, especially when, we're talking about things like the bathroom bill, for example, where we're talking about how, people need to use the bathroom for the gender that they biologically are. And there's a whole lot of conversation about that we don't need to get into. And I appreciate you trying to look out for me, Chris. I really do. But I hope that you can take away from this that, yeah, biologically female is not great.
Like I said, I recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
But my intention was to respond to that person in a language that they would understand. So
yeah, and I feel you 100%. And I'm not like, you fuck off, but for other people who were following that conversation, I don't want them to look at that comment and think, oh, that is the correct way to phrase that.
Sure.
Honestly, any way to talk about a trans person's assigned gender at birth or whatever is if they bring it up. Like, honestly, as far as anyone else is concerned, then they were born that way. Simon was born as a Ken doll, and I was born like that. That's as far as they should fucking know. Like, it's none of anyone's business. But the point of trans, like saying trans, we know we're never going to biologically be the gender that we are. That's the point of trans. You can't change chromosomes. Everyone's aware of that. But gender is not chromosomes. Sex is chromosomes. So my gender will always be my gender. And you don't got to know what's in my pants. And my cats are trying to kill each other. Stop it. Anyway, okay. Segue.
Let's talk about the drag show this weekend. I think this is a good place to kind of move from there. Simon,
yes.
What have we been doing, and what is the goal this weekend, and what is the show next month? Because I'm really excited for next month.
Okay, so the show this weekend, the 27th?
On Twitch. So that was kind of a big choice there. Chris, did you see all of that was coming out, or?
I did, yeah. It's so I understand why Twitch has made the decision that they have. They basically don't really have much choice.
Right.
Because they are liable for the activity that occurs on their platform. And when people broadcast unlicensed music, which is the majority of music content on Twitch, then the labels and the publishers can go after Twitch for that.
Right.
And if the proposed law goes through that actually makes people liable for their content online, then that's an even stickier wicket, because then the publishers could go after the individual user for, hey, you covered the Rolling Stones on your Twitch channel and now you owe me money. So
Right.
I understand where they're coming from. I don't feel like they have much choice. It's super, super unfortunate, but I also think it was only a matter of time, because this is something YouTube's already been doing for quite a while. And YouTube has been passing, the monetizations that people might make from their videos over to publishers in some cases, and in other cases just flat out banning those videos. So
right.
It was only a matter of time before this happened. It definitely presents an interesting problem for the karaoke and the drag space, because or even like the music performance space. There are a couple of creators on Twitch that I follow that perform, basically do, they do their live show that would be at a bar or at a music venue on Twitch. And now they're in jeopardy of getting their channels either demonetized, timed out, or banned. And it's really unfortunate, because how are those people supposed to make money when the lifeblood of their business is no longer available to them?
Right. Yeah. It's very interesting. So I've been really keeping up with this, especially the YouTube space with how things are going, because there's a lot of companies that are taking advantage of creators on that spot. I remember a Mr. Beast video, right? So I don't know if you guys know who Mr. Beast is, but he's this creator who does crazy things to raise money and to donate, and to just he'll walk down the street and give somebody $10,000, and that's a piece of content that he that's just what he does. I'm going to go down the street and buy somebody a Tesla. Hey, you want a Tesla? Okay, we're buying a Tesla. And that's the kind of content that he puts out. In one of his videos, he sang 3 notes of Living on a Prayer. He hummed it. He hummed 3 notes, and they took down his entire video for a split second of audio, and demonetized the entire video, and we're making the AdSense off of the 2 seconds, 3 seconds of him humming. Took all of the money from that channel altogether. So there's been a lot of conversations about is that okay? Can these companies really demonetize the entirety of the video? If so, can they monetize the video and make money off of all of that content that was created except for that little bit of humming, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot there. And what's interesting with Twitch is Twitch doesn't have the tools set in place. They have general listening algorithms that will listen to the content, make sure that the video content really isn't put together, that they're not just airing episodes of Pokemon unlicensed, right? So they have all of that inserted into the program, but it's not as intricate as, let's say, a YouTube or YouTube, basically. So what's interesting is that that in the United States, very specifically, Creative Commons is very important, but also the fact that as long as you're either commenting or remixing a piece of art, right, you have the ability to utilize that piece of art. So what's interesting is that I would suggest that legally speaking, right, that that drag is a conversation on that piece of art, as well as a remix of what was originally created.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, that being said, it still doesn't change the fact that their policy is nothing at all. Even in that kind of a space, it doesn't matter in their business opinion, which is their choice. But in the end, there's a lot of really cool things on that drag performers can do, and a lot of ways that you can get around these systems, as seen by how a lot of YouTubers edit their videos and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to affect creators as much, especially if they're what that word means. Creative, right? They're creating something. As long as they're being innovative in the content that they're putting out, choosing local artists, choosing music that you wouldn't necessarily hear, buying the rights for that music through whatever means that they would like. Like, I still feel like there's a lot that these performers can do and will do, and I'm super excited to see that. I'm really excited, and Simone and I were talking about this, about having a royalty-free music drag show where everybody performs like on like really trashy like MIDI tracks that they find online for royalty-free.
Hell yeah!
And that is a concept, but there's so much that you can do in this space. And there was a show that I watched. I don't know if Simone, if you caught it at all, but another YouTube channel and Twitch channel that I really like that Simone got me onto. It's called Media Meltdown. Yeah, I think your mic is muted, Simon, just to let you know. But they did a drag show this weekend, and it was Keanu Reeves themed. So everybody was Keanu Reeves. They were able to put it on Twitch, and a few of the songs got muted, but like for the most part, that VOD is still up. Everything's still good. They're rocking it. So I really truly feel like it's not as big of a deal as, I mean, as long as you're not playing like fucking huge, like you're not playing the Beatles on a loop for an hour, I think you're going to be fine. And that's just like, that's where I'm at with the whole thing.
My opinion differs slightly. So the key thing we're talking about here is called the fair use doctrine. You said Creative Commons, which is a separate thing.
So I talking about Creative Commons stuff and then the fair use stuff.
Right. So the idea that you can take a piece of art and remix it or commentate on it is called the fair use doctrine. There's nothing specifically in the law that says, hey, if you do it this way, it's legal. And if you do it this way, it's illegal. Because there's a number of factors that have to be considered on it. In terms of copyright, for example, if you're doing karaoke, there's usually a karaoke version of a song that you're singing to, and that has been licensed for that reason. But if you're, for example, in some performances, if you're lip syncing to a Britney Spears song and what you're playing as the audio track is the Britney Spears song, then that's a significant copyright issue because you haven't paid for the performance rights and you haven't paid for the publishing rights. And even if, because all copyrighted music, at least in the United States and several other areas around the world, usually have two different copyrights protecting them. There's the right to the recorded work itself, and then there's the publishing right, which usually comes down to the notes themselves and the lyrics. So even if you're singing a backing track to Toxic that you made yourself on GarageBand, you are still technically breaking the law because you don't have the publishing rights to use those lyrics. So it's a very scary position. The other thing is too, if you are making money from it, then that almost immediately knocks out fair use, because the idea of it is that you cannot be profiting from it, because if you are profiting from it, then you need to license that content. So it's a really sticky wicket, but I think you were right about something. I think the fact that people are getting hit with this, and it's going to be a whack-a-mole. Some people are going to get hit, some people aren't. But now that people are more aware of it, I think that the necessity breeds invention, right? People are going to come up with different ways of expressing that performance art form in a safer way that's going to be legal and is not going to cause issues. Like you said, reaching out to local bands, reaching out to people who make music that's specifically meant to be given away. The only thing that worries me from as a person who doesn't perform these things but often attends them is that part of the big, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the appeals to like drag performances is that it's a song that you know, so other people can sing along to it, they can dance to it, all that stuff. So if performers are now all of a sudden doing songs that no one knows, that may harm the performance aspect of that whole event.
Right. Yeah, I can
You
see
might
that.
also transform it.
You can, yeah, but there are different ways to do that. But I'm excited to see how people are going to do that. And
Your mic is muted.
you're still muted.
Also, I love your cat so much.
It's a catastrophe on this show tonight. That's where we're at.
It's a wonderful catastrophe.
It is a wonderful catastrophe.
But anyways, so we'll get to no, it's still not working. Sorry. Can you leave the call, come back in, and try that real quick? See if that fixes it. But anyways, yeah, I think that in the end, right? Like I said, I think that there's always going to be ways around it, and people are always going to be doing it. And when it comes to drag performers have never really bought the rights. I mean, if you think about it, drag shows live off of that kind of content, and in the end, in those live spaces.
However, the idea of streaming performances like that puts us in a new arena because,
right?
For example, one of the restaurant bars that does drag nights here in Fort Collins is called The Whiskey, and The Whiskey pays performance royalties for the music that they broadcast in their establishment. That also covers the drag performers that perform there. So in those instances, those are completely legal things, and that's how they can get away with doing it. Once you take it into the arena of streaming, where you're no longer doing it, where you're no longer being able to piggyback off someone else's license, that's now why it's a bigger issue. Simone, can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I took my earbuds out.
Is there a microphone on them?
Wacky. Okay.
And
Synth says extremely off topic, but I love y'all. This show overall
can you hear me?
is just off topic. Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
We can still hear you. Yes.
Okay.
I guess it's now Sprint style, because didn't that guy leave Verizon?
Yeah, he left Verizon and he went to Sprint, and now that T-Mobile brought Sprint, he's probably out of a job.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
Wait. No, T-Mobile bought Sprint, right?
That's what I said.
Yeah,
T-Mobile bought Sprint. Yeah.
No. But the Can You Hear Me Now guy was an actor.
He 100% still has a job. He's going to be the first commercial for the crossover. He's going to be like, "Can you hear me now?" on T-Mobile now too. And now because that guy's contract is the most interesting, and we can talk about the Mixer stuff too, about how that's interesting, their contracts. But his contract is awesome. They said that he cannot play do phone commercials for a few years, and it was 5 years, which is nothing in that time. People remember those big commercials in 5 years. Mm-hmm. So when your contract says that, you're not supposed to, and immediately Sprint was like, we're gonna scoop them up immediately. And I'm sure that they probably had a conversation probably after the last commercial there, where they're like, "Hey, just a quick question. When's your commercial? When's your contract up?" I think that was the most brilliant marketing ploy ever.
I mean, it was a great marketing ploy, but it didn't exactly work for Sprint because they've been bleeding customers for years. And that's part of the reason why T-Mobile was able to scoop them up, is because they somehow convinced the FCC that they would not be reducing competition by eliminating one of their competitors. But that is a rant for another time.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, that whole scenario where people thousands of people have lost their jobs at this point is very disheartening. Yeah, and I have T-Mobile right now, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. This is really kind of grody.
I mean,
I got Sprint, so I feel
Well, so that means you'll have T-Mobile very shortly. But yeah, I mean, I look at it as, okay, full disclosure, I used to work for T-Mobile USA, but that was a very long time ago. So I've always been biased toward their service, but I've also sold AT&T service and sold Verizon service, and AT&T and Verizon are far worse corporate citizens than T-Mobile is. So as against the merger as I am, I won't be changing my service anytime soon.
So anyways, drag show next month.
Next month?
Do you want to talk about the drag show next month and what you are giving me for my birthday, which is the best drag show idea possible, or do you want me to talk about it?
Is this me now?
Yeah, this is you now.
Okay, hi, I'm Simone. So for several months now, well, let's see. I started doing drag about 1.5 years ago, which is also about the time Charles and I started dating. So probably for about 1.5 years.
Coincidence?
Charles has been Charles has been trying to convince me to produce a show with a very specific theme, and I have shot him down every time.
That's hilarious.
Themed show, which was super awesome. So it was like video games, board games. I was a Rock'em Sock'em Robot. We had.
Oh, that's great.
We had sexy Donkey Kong. We had sexy Operation. It was basically Halloween. So we've done, so we've had a few different themed shows. And I have, like I said, I've said no to Charles, hard no, every time he's brought this up. But I have finally agreed for his birthday next month. I will produce a show with the theme of Everyone is Shrek.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
That is my
Charles.
That is my birth.
You son of a bitch. And
so,
I say that with love.
We don't have a date. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. As I said, I say that because I say it A, with love, and B, because that sounds like absolute pure nightmare fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to see it.
It's going to be awful.
No, it's not. It's going to be
Set
amazing.
the bar high. It's going to be awful.
It's going to be the worst.
You set specific box and be creative.
We did agree, however, because when I tried pitching this idea to a group of drag performers I work with, most of the response was, really? You can only be Shrek? What about Fiona? What about Donkey? And Charles was very adamant, no, only Shrek. Shrek only. But I think
Shrek.
I think we have reached a compromise now.
Yes, we have.
The theme is still, the title of the show is still going to be Everyone is Shrek, but performers can choose other Shrek characters if they so choose.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, okay, so Charles, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Question.
Okay, well, hold on. I'm going to answer Chris's question, but actually, maybe the same question. KevCat, what was your question? I'll answer both.
I have kind of two questions. One, can I please be in the show? And two, why isn't it called Everyone is Shrek'd? And then we could all just get fucked up. You know, Shrek'd.
That's cool. I like that, but no, that's not the name of the show.
This is Charles's birthday.
So, okay.
Kev, start coming up with some shitty themes for your birthday, and I'll consider it.
So the idea altogether stemmed from this video I saw of a guy sitting in a bar, and inside the bar, hold on real quick. So this guy's sitting in a bar, and he's just like looking around, and he looks towards the door, and in storms about 30 people, all dressed like Beaker from the Muppets. And my thought was like, what if all of these were drag performers? Now with this, because I thought that was be hilarious if everybody is in the same limited, right? But like, what if you were in a bar and you had 13 sexy Shreks around you? That shit would be so funny to be in a bar with 13 sexy Shreks everywhere.
I'm going to stop you right there. The words sexy and Shrek do not go together.
I 100% think that you are...
Only cowards think that sex is in Shrek. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So with this, right, I think that you are completely wrong, and I think that you are limiting drag performers when you say that Shrek can't be sexy. I bet you, if I look up sexy Shrek... Oh, actually, Simone did this.
We have multiple times.
Right.
You're going to get some weird Pornhub ads when you start searching for sexy Shrek.
Right. And I really truly feel that this is a good way, to limit creators in a very like creative way, especially drag performers, but B, also, it would be the memeiest meme on the planet. You could say, hey, I did a drag show where all the drag performers were Shrek. You say that at a club, that's going to be all you guys talk about all night. That's going to be like the biggest thing that people talk about forever. And I just want to help Simone and create something that's going to be remembered for a long time. And that is going to be everyone is Shrek.
Everyone is
for
Shrek.
better or
now
worse.
we have agreed. Correct. It doesn't have to be music from the Shrek movies.
No,
it can be any music.
You just have to be dressed as a Shrek
Everyone
character.
is Shrek.
Yeah.
Everyone is Shrek. See, for me...
What if you change like the music enough so it's like coincidentally in like...
Now you just...
No one gets it? Okay.
You want to finish that sentence?
I said, what if it's like...
Oh, there you are.
Hello.
You just like materialized.
I said, what if it's like you just cover the songs enough, you change them enough, like synonyms for all the songs, like coincidentally in like, or...
Oh, I see.
I like that.
Thank you.
That took... Okay, the second time I got it, but I was still like, cross the T. Yeah, okay.
I will be performing my hit number,
All-Star?
Smash Mouth All-Star, done to the Hamilton soundtrack, You'll Be Back. Now, that shit is amazing, and it's perfection, and it went somewhat viral on TikTok, and it's going to go somewhat viral everywhere when it's done. So I am super, super excited for that.
I'm intrigued to find out the correlation between your idea of somewhat and... I'm here for it.
If you don't think that's meme material, you don't know memes. And like
Charles, the majority of things I understand about memes comes from you and Corbin. So you're right. I really don't really understand much.
You're leaving me out of this.
Can I talk real quick
send me as
about
many memes?
Corbin
I'll get on that.
Corbin found this amazing thing on Facebook. It was one of those like Facebook tests that you can do, like where it does like a quick little thing where it's like, are you gay? Over your face and stuff like that. He found one where it was like this circle and a bunch of different performers: Shakira, Justin Bieber, a bunch of other performers, like go into like a circle, and then when whoever it stops on, your face gets plastered on their face in the music video, and it was Corbin's face on Justin Bieber while Justin Bieber's dancing, and Corbin's like, no. It's the best fucking thing.
It was somewhat horrifying.
It was beautiful, and it was courageous, and I appreciate that man and his memes.
Speaking of Corbin, I did in fact print out that picture of PodCon when he put on that fucking outfit and sat in the car. So now I have like a framed picture of Corbin in hot pants and a mesh shirt just in my house, and it's great.
Do you guys remember when Corbin was interviewing those guys, the Nissan guys, and was like, "Oh, how many people can you fit in this thing?" in a fucking like, what was it? It was like a see-through top where you could definitely.
I have it right here. Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, my light went out. Ooh, battery's done.
Oh, no.
Which means that it's about time to finish the show.
He was wearing this beautiful thing. And leather pants.
Right. While interviewing guys at the Nissan, inside the Nissan booth, inside the Nissan vehicle.
Charles, we still never released that video footage.
Dude.
Oh, man, really?
I don't know where it's, it's somewhere. It's on my old computer, and my old computer exploded. So.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So good times.
I have actual crickets behind me right now.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know if that's the chat or if it's actually the show. But I want to bring everyone's attention to a film that I saw this past week rather. It's called Velocipaster. It's amazing. So it's about a pastor whose parents are inexplicably murdered in front of him, in front of his church, actually. And one night, he gets bestowed with this bizarre ancient power to be able to turn into a velociraptor and kill people. But this sounds like one of those movies that you would see on the Sci-Fi Channel, like, Mecha Gator versus Shocktopus or whatever, like those kind of things.
Right.
This is an entirely different level of that, because those movies, while respectable compared to like Avengers style budgets, still cost a lot of money to make. This entire movie was shot for $35,000.
Fuck yes.
And if you look at the cover art, let me see if I can. I'll see if I can share my screen here. But if you, okay, yeah, and now it's just my desktop, so that's cool. So that's not working. Anyway, it looks like it was shot for $30,000. Because they basically took one of those like inflatable dinosaur suits that you see people wearing and like running around it and stuff. They basically made a crappier version of that, and that's the movie.
Hey, Chris?
Yeah.
Question. Why did you never mention that there are ninjas in this movie?
I was just about to get to that. He also fights a gang of ninjas who are somehow tied to the church that he works for? ? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. Yeah, if I were better prepared, I would play the trailer or something for this. But it is as crazy a cinematic experience as you could ever really have. And I've seen a lot of really weird movies, but this one ranks in the highest ones. Because you also find out while he's fighting the ninjas at the end of the movie that one of them is his brother? ? Like, there's all of these random things that show up. And the girl that he befriends, he saves her life at one point when some mugger's gonna kill her. She is not a hooker, not a doctor, not a lawyer, but a hooker doctor lawyer.
Me! Goals! Fucking, I want to be that.
And
ambitious.
One of my favorite lines from the movie is that she's telling him, it's hard to find jobs because there's just not that much need for hooker doctor lawyers.
What do you mean? I need a hooker doctor lawyer.
So I think that all three of us, and Simone, you're welcome to as well, should watch this movie and have a more thorough discussion on it next week. Because it is absolutely ridiculous and amazing. And it was so successful, relatively speaking, that a sequel is on the way. And it's going to be fantastic.
I love this. I love it so much. I love really crappy films so much. I'm so glad that you brought this to my attention, Chris. I am going to enjoy this. I may not get to it this week. We may have to do it in a couple weeks because I have to finish this music video this week, and I have no time. But when I do, we should do a review because that would be incredible. I am so excited.
Maybe what we should do too. Maybe what we can do is record a commentary while it's playing for our Patreon supporters.
That would be awesome. I would be down with that.
That would be super cool.
Okay, we got 3 minutes. let's finish this thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So, Simone, let us know one last time about the show this weekend. What
show this weekend? It's a drag show here on NoCo FM, Saturday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, featuring me, Simon Hyperion, and Charles too.
Cool.
Yes.
I'm excited.
All
Really
the
excited.
ass, all the class. Tune in this Saturday.
Yes. Twitch.tv.
No, Charles has made it very, very clear that no nudity is allowed.
Oh, that's
Well,
no fun.
yes, 100%. There is no nudity on Twitch. Like, that is not going to happen. I appreciate you, but yikes. No tibbies.
Yeah.
Except for Chris's. Chris can show off his
Chris,
male
please,
presenting
limit of
nipples.
equality. Can you jiggle your titties?
That's all I got.
But
Yes.
anyway, Chris, you want to do the outro? I just wanted to get that in before we
Absolutely.
do
So Saturday night, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 on the West Coast, twitch.tv/NoCoFM. If you're watching this on Twitch right now, it's in the same spot. And you know what? We might...
So just stay here until then. Just sit
Yes, just
right
sit,
where you are.
Just sit here and stare at the wall until we go live on Saturday night.
Don't you dare fucking move. We have motion activated cameras in your home right now. That's right. We're rich enough for that, but we can't pay our host.
That's true. The camera was like $23. It's not really a question of resources. But yes, we do this show every Monday night. Come hell or high water. We're doing our best to be consistent about that, but obviously quarantine, pandemic, technical issues, depression, all of these things affect our ability to do the show. And sometimes we overcome them, like tonight, and sometimes we don't, but that's okay. So, yes, we do this show every Monday. We have lots of other shows on our network, including KevCat.
NoCo Gadio, gay show with your gay host, Friday nights at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. This month, it's all black queer artists because fuck you, I do what I want. Please tune in, check out some really dope shit. Maybe hear some, like, I don't know, fun stories. And I also do an art project every week where I draw something while listening to the music, and I invite you to do the same.
That's just one of the many, many, many shows we have available on NoCo FM, including Charles.
This weekend we've got a new episode of Rolling Misadventures. It is the first episode of Rolling Misadventures that I've edited, and it's fucking incredible. It is probably I love it so much, and there's a joke that I don't want to spoil until next Monday, but it's fucking insane, and I can't wait to talk about it more. So that. We probably should have Derrick on next week so we can chat about that.
Sure.
Because
I think
he got on my case about that. Yeah. But anyways.
So yeah, Saturday
I'm really
nights, 7 p.m. Mountain. 7 p.m. Mountain, 9 p.m. Eastern, 9 on Saturdays. We switch off. 1 week it's Rolling Misadventures. 1 week it's Talk and Roll. Talk and Roll just finished their Law and Order arc, and the most recent episode, The Trial, is absolutely fantastic. I was laughing my ass off last night when I was listening to that, and going delusional in the studio because there's spray adhesive everywhere. I also do a show called Ducky's Funhouse. Right now it airs Fridays at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's 3 p.m. Eastern and noon on the West Coast, though that time will probably change because it's a weird time. But our stream right now is running 24/7 at NoCo.fm, and all month long we are spotlighting people of color because more needs to be exposed out there. There's more, there's wonderful art that's out there that not enough people know about. So we're doing our part to expose the wider world to that. And I am pleased to announce that even after this month is over, we will be debuting a new show on our stream that continues the People of Color Spotlight. And that will actually be Friday nights at 8 p.m. right after NoCo Gadio. So starting in July, we'll have that POC Spotlight show as a permanent fixture on the network. So that's just one of many things that are coming soon. Those are all the ones we can tell you about. But thank you so much for watching and or listening. This has been NoCo Live. We'll see you next Monday, probably. Until then, check us out at NoCo.fm. Let us know how we're doing on the social medias at NoCoFM. And if you have a spare quarter or so to throw our way, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/NoCoFM, and help support our hosts who are doing some really fantastic stuff for no money. So let's change that, shall we? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time.